In this project video, we are going to continue modeling this wooden toy train. The last thing we add to the model were the wheels on the right side. Let's add the mirror modifier so we can see the wheels on the left side also. Go to the object mode, then add modifier, and then choose mirror here. Now we can see the wheels in the left area. Don't forget to turn on the bisect option here so we don't get double vertices. Next, we want to fix the smoothing group. Right-click and choose Shade Smooth. Go to the Mesh Detail panel, Normals, and then turn on the Auto Smooth option here. I think the default 30 degrees angle already looks good, so we don't need to change anything. Next, I want to use a matte cap material. So go to the Viewport option and choose Matte Cap here. And I think I go with this brown one. Turn on the cavity option and set it to World so we get some ambient occlusion shadows in our model. I don't need the ridges for now. And for the valley, let's bump this up a little to 1.5. This way we have darker ambient occlusion shadows. With this setup, we will be able to see and read the geometry better. Next, we want to create the boiler. Go to the Edit mode, press Shift-A, and then choose Cylinder here. For this cylinder, because it is quite large, I want to have 32 vertices at the side. So open the Operator panel and revise this vertices value to 32. Next, we need to rotate this using the X-axis. So press R, then X, and then 90, then Enter. Move this to the front. Now, if we look at the image reference, let me collapse this panel and also hide our toy train object. We can see the diameter of the boiler tank is about the size of the initial box. Then below, as it gets smaller, it gets cut off. We can see it is not a full circle, okay? Let's unhide our object again. Move this until it snaps to this vertex. We can see the boiler border already match the initial box. Let's move this down until it penetrates the bottom frame. About this deep, okay? Let's drag this to the front and then hold Ctrl and snap it to this vertex. Currently, we have these faces overlap with each other. This is a bad thing. So let's move this back a bit. Next, we want to create the front lamp. For this, we can move the 3D cursor first to this face center location. Press Shift-S, choose Cursor to Selected here. We can see the 3D cursor is now at the face location. So if we create a new UV sphere, it will be created at that location. It looks kind of cool, but we'll stick with the reference image. We need to rotate this object. Oh, sorry. Let's reduce the vertices first. Because this will be a relatively small object, let's make it 16 vertices. Then let's rotate this sphere. Press R, X, and then 90, then Enter. Let's see this from the side view. Shift-Z to go to the wireframe mode. Scale it until about this size. I think this should be a bit squashed. So let's scale this on the Y-axis and move it to the front. About this far, okay? Next, we want to create the front bottom pilot. Shift-A and choose Cube here. Let's move this to the front. And let's close this panel. Use the Move Tool gizmo and then hold Ctrl and snap it to this vertex here. Go to the Edge mode and select this edge. Move it along the X-axis and then snap it to this vertex here. Next, we want to dissolve this edge. For this, you can just press Ctrl-X. Next, we want this face to be slightly higher than the bottom part of this wheel. We can snap it first. Then move this up a little. Next, we need to make this edge aligned to the far side of the wheel. We can see in the reference image, the shadow here is aligned with this wheel here. So the side edge is actually tilting to make the edge down here aligned to the wheel. Go to the Edge mode and select this edge here, and move it and snap it to the vertex at the wheel. Then select this edge here. We can see the thickness of this pilot mesh is about half the width of the wheel. So let's bring this to about this location. Next, we want to create the chimney. Press Shift A and choose cylinder. Because this chimney is relatively smaller than the wheel, let's use fewer side vertices. I think 16 is good enough. Let's see this from the side view. Press Shift Z to go to the wireframe mode. Move it to about this location. Scale it down so it is about the size of the chimney in the image reference. Move this down. Go to the vertex mode. Alt A, then press B to activate the box selection mode. Select the upper vertices and then move it until here. Then press E to extrude. Move it to about this location. S to scale it down. Notice how the surface is a bit curved. Let's add a loop cut by using Ctrl R and then scale it up a bit. I think the chimney already looks good. Let's copy the mesh for the whistle. Press Ctrl L to select the whole chimney mesh. Shift D and move it here. Scale it down until the width of it is roughly the same. Let's move this down a bit. Now, of course, the reference image has some perspective distortion. So we need to just approximate the actual position of the chimney and the whistle meshes. I think this should be closer to the roof. Alt A and then L and move this back. Too much? And move this down a bit. Okay, we can spend more time tweaking the position here and there, but let's just continue for now. If we set the object to smooth, but then after that we add more meshes into the object, the new meshes will not get smoothed out automatically. We can see this better in the object mode. Notice how the chimney and the whistle are flat shaded. So you need to redo the Shade Smooth command. Right click and choose Shade Smooth. Now they look smooth. But we actually want the edges here to be sharp, not smooth. And this is kind of tricky, because if you go to the data panel and play around with the auto smooth angle threshold, there is no value that can solve this problem due to the number of faces and angles near those edges. Let's change this back to 30 degrees. So instead of relying on this global threshold value, we are going to use the more custom edge crease method. Make sure we are in the edge mode. Hold Alt and click on one of these edges. Then Shift, Alt, and click this edge also. So now we have two edge loops selected. Next, to sharp them, right click and then choose Mark Sharp here. Now we can see the edges look sharp. The modeling process is finished. The last final step is to add a bevel modifier to get rid of all the sharp edges in the model. So go to the modifier panel, add modifier, and then choose bevel. By default, all of the edges will be beveled. We only want the bevels to happen on sharp corner edges. So in the limit method section, select angle here. But now the bevel won't show up. I did some research before of the record. Turns out that we need to create an edge here. So let's do that. Select this vertex and this vertex, then press J. We need to do this also for this side. Select this one and this one, then press J. Now we can see the bevel modifier start kicking in. But this bevel width is too large. Let's input 0.01. I think this is too small. Let's try 0.015. Okay, I think I like this one. So Alhamdulillah, we are done now.